Check. Meow. Hi, my name's Steven. I use he, him pronouns. I have an annoying cat. Come here. You wanted to say hi. You can show everyone your stupid face. Here's my boy. He's 13 and I love him. Anyways, we talked last week. It was only a couple days ago, about how you can identify yourself and some labels you can use to talk about your gender identity, your gender expression, your sexual orientation, and romantic orientation. I also mentioned sex characteristics, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. And because the stupid administration right now is trying to pass legislation to deny the existence of trans people, and here I am existing twice as hard, twice as trans, sharing as much trans information as I can on the internet, so come get me. Let's get into the lesson, shall we? So before we talk about any kind of puberty or anything like that, and I'm not going to go into any details because I want to do short, sweet, kind of breeze over it. If you want more detailed, I'll get there later. But I wanted to kind of just start from in utero, 9 weeks old. You're not forming genitals yet, you're just forming these ducts that are basically what helps you pee. They're just there to help you pee. This is a quote I pulled from the website I looked at. Permanent organs of the adult are preceded by a set of structures which are purely embryonic. These structures are these ducts that you have. So everyone basically starts with the same kind of genitalia shape. And then when you start growing in utero, it starts to form depending on the chromosomes that are in your body. And I am not an intersex person, so I cannot talk on their experiences, but I would love to hear about them. And I'd love to have an intersex person come talk with me sometime. That would be really great. So I'm just going to share my information, my experiences. If you look at, I don't have two to show, but I wish I did, a penis and a vagina. If you look at the shape of them, they're very, very similar. You know, you've got the head of the clitoris, which is basically similar to the head of the penis. They've both got where the nerve endings are. You know, you've got the testes, which are formed from like the folds of your labia, and you can kind of, as a trans person, refer to whatever genitalia you've been given however you want to. Even if, you know, you didn't go through the right puberty the first time, you're not on any kind of hormone replacement or puberty blockers or anything, you are more than welcome to identify your genitalia with how you express your gender, because who freaking cares? It's your genitalia. Enjoy it. We'll have another episode about sex toys and stuff like that a little later on, because we have just been born now. Hooray, great, you're a baby, you've just been born. They stamp an M or an F on your forehead and send you out of the hospital, and then society starts putting all these pressures on you as a male or as a female, to present certain ways, to express yourself certain ways, to not express yourself certain ways, and it's really, really hard. So, wait, one real quick thing before I get to the puberty. Something I do know about intersex people, a lot of children who are born intersex are forced into surgeries. Not even children, they're very baby. They're born, they're given a surgery to help their genitalia look one way or another. Purely cosmetic. The only surgery that should be done on a intersex child should be to make sure they can pee. That's it. Anything else is purely cosmetic societal pressures for, and they shouldn't be, you shouldn't do that. The baby should be able to grow up and decide what their genitalia should look like. So now you're at about age 12, a little earlier, a little later, depending on who you are, and puberty starts to hit in. You start getting acne, you are moody, you start growing in certain areas, you get hair in certain places, and it's weird. If you, before this age, realize you are trans and realize you are trans, you can talk to your parents and doctors about going on puberty blockers, which will hold off this kind of change for a little while until you decide which hormones you would like coursing through your body. If you've gone through that puberty and it is not what you want, you have the option to go to your doctor and talk about either estrogen, which is the feminine hormone, or testosterone, which is the masculine hormone. One more quick thing about puberty blockers, because I'm reading my list stupidly, but puberty blockers, very, very safe. They're not just used for trans people, they're also used for cis people to help with precocious puberty, and it is totally safe, lots of science behind it. Your doctors should not deny you that option. When you are ready to go into what is basically your second puberty, when you go on testosterone or estrogen, again, your doctor shouldn't deny it. You shouldn't need a therapist note. In most cases, I live in Massachusetts, so I live in a pretty safe for trans people state. But again, you should just be able to go in and ask and tell your general care doctor that you're ready for testosterone or estrogen. So, since I'm going through changes with testosterone, I can talk about what's happening there, but I do not have the experience with estrogen. So maybe I can get a trans woman on my show to come talk about that. That'd be super great. I'd love to interview one. So I've been on all three forms of three or four. I'll count in a second. I've been on gels, I've been on patches, and I've been on shots. Gels, patches, shots. Is that it? Yeah. Been on all three forms of testosterone. I started with the shots because that was the easiest ones for my insurance to pass. And I went into my doctors once a week and they would give me a shot, and they tried to teach me how to give myself the shot, but I'm so afraid of needles, that option was not good for my mental health. So I switched to the patches, and it turns out I'm allergic to the adhesive on the patches. Not the medication itself, just the adhesive that sticks the patch to your skin. So I got really bad rashes. So I went off testosterone for a little bit, and now I'm back on it with the gel, which I'm not allergic to, and this was my last and final option because it is the most expensive thing for my insurance to cover, and my insurance, I had to fight them for a little while to get them to put it, to cover it. They are also dumb about covering my sister's birth controls, so it's just not a good insurance plan, but they shouldn't anyways. So things that happen, again, you go through, hair growing in different places, hairlines receding. My hairline is not receding, by the way. I shave the sides. It is a little bit right here. This is like where my hairline should be, but I shave it because I think it looks cooler. Your face shape changes, your voice drops or goes higher. You experience growth in different areas. You can get chest growth, you can get bottom growth, chest growth on estrogen, bottom growth on testosterone. I'm not sure what happens downstairs on estrogen, but I would love to find out. In a not weird way, in like a scientific way. Weight distribution, how you gain and lose weight is a little bit different depending on the hormones that you're on. Acne you can get. I never broke out in high school at all, and now I'm getting all pimply and it sucks. Your mood can change. You can be more moody, different things. So we've talked about your anatomy basically from before you're even born. It's all the same shape to begin with. It just depends on the chromosomes that you have no control over that forms the genitalia that you end up with being born with. There are ways to pause puberty for a little while, puberty blockers. There are ways to go through a second puberty that fits your gender identity if you would like. And these options are not, there's also, it's not the surgery. There are surgeries you can get. There's top surgery, there's bottom surgery. None are required to be trans or non-binary or gender non-conforming. You don't have to look any certain way. You don't have to express yourself any certain way to be trans, to be non-binary. You just like have to be happy. These things, these second puberties that, you know, the second puberty that I'm going through is not making me trans. I am trans. This puberty is just another one I gotta go through to make my body look the way I want it to. I think I'm getting a little bit too personal right now, but anyways, so that was it for today. I'm not quite sure what's gonna happen on the next one. If you leave a comment below, maybe I will take a suggestion. But I've been talking too long, and I should stop and drink some water. Yeah, bye.